Good evening. Almost good morning. Just a few minutes away from being the morning after Kentucky just beat Vanderbilt on a 9 o'clock Tuesday night game that we love so much. The Cats went down to Memorial Gym in Nashville and got a big win, 69-53. They led by as many as 18 points, the most they've led by in conference play, so it felt good to beat a team by so many points again. And we are here to talk about it before our bedtime. We have the usual crew of Jack Pilgrim and Zach Gagan. The three of us are at our homes, as you can tell, doing this via StreamYard, not the usual location at Rupp Arena. But at Memorial Gym, we had Miss Tyler Thompson on the scene, so she is joining us for tonight's rapid reaction. So Tyler, will just lead off with you. What was it like being in there in what looked like a sea of blue in Nashville for this road game?
It was awesome, but first of all, thanks for having me on a rapid reaction. You know, you guys usually do this on your own, so it's pretty cool to be part one. They're my favorite part of our post-game coverage now, so it's an honor and a privilege. I've seen a lot of Kentucky Vanderbilt games in this building, and this is going to be one of my favorite, I think. You know, Kentucky came in on a winning streak, and they really just needed to take care of business before a really big game against Kansas, and they did. You know, that Vanderbilt kind of kept it going back and forth in the first half, but the way Kentucky started the second half was awesome. I mean, just came out on a 9-0 run, pushed the lead to 18. The Go Big Blue chant started. It was just a really like another feel-good moment for this team, which I think is kind of, they're not only stacking wins, they're kind of stacking feel-good moments. And we'll get into this because I know everybody wants to talk about it, but I think it's the Savier Wheeler game. I think for him, it's just a huge performance to come off the bench. I think he had 5 assists. It just really played well alongside, Antonio Reeves, CJ Frederick, Jacob Toppin, Oscar Shibwe. And it kind of shows that if we need him to come off the bench and spell Case and Wallace, he can do it. I was so happy for him tonight.
It was a big game for Wheeler. I know we all love the Benny lineup, which played well tonight. All 5 of the Benny lineup did most of the scoring, all in double figures. But as Tyler was saying, Wheeler kind of let everybody know he's still on the map. He still matters. He still has lots of good minutes to play. Jack, you were on the pregame show with us where we wondered how Wheeler would respond to this new role. And he's pretty much all Calipari talked about in the postgame comments after he played a good night tonight coming off the bench.
Yeah, this is a kid that you obviously want to root for. He's somebody that's beloved by the fan base for who he is and the impact that he can provide. And that's kind of what we've been wanting, is him to be a spark plug off the bench, a guy that, can come in and give you 25 minutes and, give you a couple quick assists and a couple quick buckets and, dive for a loose ball here and there, or, jump a passing lane and start a transition opportunity the other way. That's what we've been waiting for with Savier Wheeler. And yeah, the opportunity, just kind of to reemerge as, a guy on this roster that this team needs. Chin said this past week that this team won't go anywhere and can't be special if Savier isn't making an impact. And, you had to feel bad for him for how things unfolded, and it's the right move. And I think we had some pretty telling quotes from Cal after the game that said, Savier still might be coming off the bench, and that's probably what's best for the team moving forward if he does. But he has to have a role on this team. I love him as that spark plug, kind of Davion Mintz role. Come in and provide what you can in spurts, and I think that's exactly what he provided tonight, and I think he's a big reason why Kentucky was able to coast to a win out of Nashville.
I think it really helped Vandy being shorthanded and with Wheeler bringing the pace and the speed. They were really pushing the tempo when he came in. I think with so much being made of the plus-minus here lately, he's obviously been on the negative end of that a lot. The analytics have shown Kentucky's been better without him. But just getting some confidence in being a plus 11, knowing you are not the problem, and whatever role you have, whatever the lineup looks like, Kentucky can still do a lot of productive things, even if it is coming off the bench. Zach Antonio Reeves came off the bench and immediately scored 7 points early in the game for Kentucky's first offense. He finished with 16. He now averages close to 17 points per game in this 4-game win streak. Maybe even going a little farther back, might be 6 or 7 games back. But he has emerged as quite the scorer now that Calipari trusts him with more than 20 minutes a game. Zach, are we going to see more of this Antonio Reeves moving forward? Is he the go-to option on offense?
Yeah, I think he's now kind of taking over that Ty Wash, where he's the only guy that's he's the guy that they want to go out there and put up points. his confidence is at an all-time high, and I think that's really the big part of it. Is he's just letting shots fly. He's hitting tough runners, floaters, like shots that he wasn't even trying to take a few games ago. Now he's just drilling them every time he walks up and down the floor. And CJ was kind of, he honestly played similar to how he did last game, but just some more of the shots were falling. I think he only finished with 2 made threes, but he had a couple of tough jumpers as well in the lane. So when those two guys are out there hitting, UK is just really tough to beat. You see how it opens up things for guys like Jacob and Oscar, and even Savier, who was able to wiggle his way in there for 5 assists. CJ actually had 5 assists as well tonight. So, but Reeves he's established himself as UK's go-to scorer right now. Him and Oscar have a good sort of balance with how they try and work inside and outside and not lean too heavy one way or the other. So another big game from Antonio Reeves, and yeah, his confidence is really what's peaking at the perfect time for this team.
I miss having our nice HD views at Rupp Arena, but I like that we can do live commentary when we do these StreamYard games. And I'm going to try to bring up James Gordon here if I know what I'm doing. Yeah, there we go. Look at this technology. Because he said my favorite moment was at the end of the first half when Cal called a timeout and drew up a play, and we executed it perfectly. Is Cal changing his ways? I do not know if Cal is changing his ways, but Jack, did you see Cal run off the court? Because I didn't know he had that in that new hip that he got, that Cal could run like that. But after calling the timeout, getting the easy bucket as time expired, he was very excited there.
And he was all over the floor. There are some videos showing him like out to the free throw line, out to the 3-point line. He got teed up a couple games back. This dude, I think, it just doesn't care anymore. I think he's just going to go out and do whatever he wants to do. He's going to say whatever he wants. And, I think to be totally honest, he deserves a lot of credit. I think he coaches butt off. And it just takes a lot of accountability to acknowledge what wasn't working to start the year, that you tried, understanding, it was a square peg in a round hole. It's just not working, to kind of go back to the drawing board and say, all right, we got to hit reset. We got to start from scratch. I think Cal said after this most recent game, he said, I don't care what you guys do. This team is going to break through, whether you all like it or not. I don't care what it takes. We're going to figure out a way to do it. And I think he really has done that. He's throwing some stuff out, adding new things in, drawing up new plays. We saw Savier in lineups that, in the basketball Benny lineup with Savier, where he had shooters around him for the first time. And that's kind of been one of the biggest gripes. Why do you have Savier in a lineup with Chris at the 3, Jacob at the 4, and Lance at the 5, or Lance at the 4 and Oscar at the 5, or whatever? Put more shooting and scoring around him. And I think Cal said, all right, shut up. I've heard enough. I'm going to finally do it. And it takes a lot for somebody to kind of admit you were wrong and to kind of change your ways. So tip of the cap to Coach Cal. I think he did a great job tonight.
He also played
Jack, let
me
hop in there because let me hop in there because I actually asked Savier what it was like to play alongside Reeves and CJ and Oscar and Toppin. And he had a good comment. He was like, well, I play next to him all the time and like pickup and stuff like that. And in practice, I mean, haven't seen it in the game much until now. It looked pretty good. But I mean, he did, he went on to say that the spacing is so great when you have 2 shooters next to you, and he loved it. So hopefully we get to see it moving forward, because Kayson's going to get in foul trouble at some point. Back to you, Drew.
Well, I'll go right back to you. I have a question. We're all watching at home. I'm in what looks like a dungeon here. We heard the Go Big Blue chants. Also, we saw all the drunkards building pyramids that would upset Mitch Barnhart. Looked like a fun atmosphere, though. Was it as blue as it seemed on TV?
It really was. I'll admit, I didn't really know what to expect. UK always draws a big crowd here. Not only there are a lot of UK fans in Nashville, it's so close to the state line, but it's been a weird season. A couple of weeks ago, I don't think a ton of people would come down for a Tuesday night, 8:00 local time, 9:00 Eastern time game. But there was a ton of blue in the building. I mean, I'd say at least, I'm horrible at the ratio game, but like 65-35 blue. And like you said, there's the beer pyramid. I'm staring at it right now. They still haven't cleaned it up, which is a little weird. A lot of Kentucky fans in the student section. Yeah, it's still there. I could turn my computer around and show you all. It's odd. But yeah, it's basically from, I'd say, right up until right before halftime was the first really loud Go Big Blue chant. And then throughout the second half, it just got louder and louder. I mean, fans, I think just as much as the team, really want to have this season turn around and have these feel-good moments, and tonight was one of them.
Well, it's good to know not everyone gave up on the team. Now won 4 games in a row. Got a big one against Kansas, who might be losing 4 in a row. I see lots of people talking about Kansas. I'm just going to keep liking comments. I like this new feature here. It's probably too early to give predictions, but why not? Anybody feeling good about Saturday? Going to make it 5 in a row?
Jack is.
Big fan. Yeah, but I watched them last night, and I've seen Kansas play a lot this season. They are very thin down low. I think, again, like we saw tonight, I think tonight was kind of a preview of what is to come on Saturday. I don't think Kansas has a single matchup on their roster that is going to be able to stop Oscar Sheboy. I think that's going to be a very, very significant matchup. And unfortunately, I think Kansas's worst player in the starting lineup is actually their point guard spot. And I think that Kentucky has a pretty clear mismatch there as well. And, I think building on the Savier Wheeler game, I think it could be a pretty interesting opportunity for him to kind of take a step up as well. The game is going to be played at the wing spots. Grady Dick is the star for Kansas. So I think that might be a Jacob Toppin matchup. But I don't think that Kansas has the physicality and the strength and the fight. And it's kind of crazy thinking that Kentucky, a team that just wasn't showing any fight 3 weeks ago and was, that was Cal's biggest point of emphasis in the press conferences, that is going to be their biggest strength going into this matchup against what, at one point was a top 3, top 2 Kansas team. So I definitely like Kentucky's chances on Saturday.
Well, for now, everyone regroup, get some sleep. Tyler, go knock over that beer pyramid, help pick up the place there in Nashville. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. We'll take a few days to get ready for Kansas. Then we'll watch Kentucky win that game. But for now, we'll sign off here with yet another KSR Rapid Reaction on our YouTube channel. For Drew, Jack, Zach, and Tyler, we'll say goodnight from Lexington, wherever you all are in Nashville. Go Cats, and thanks for watching, subscribing, and commenting. Have a good night.